Hi, I'm Pat from the Falling Oak, and today we're going to be tackling a scrap wood problem. We're going to be taking some of these scraps and creating some pretty unique coasters from them to be able to use as additional gifts for friends and family. A lot of these scraps have come from older holiday projects and a whole bunch of just cut-offs from various items that we've done. To get started on this project, some of these boards do need to get flattened out just a little bit. While I would normally be taking these over to the planer, really, these just have some rough cuts in them, and so taking them to the drum sander, we'll be able to smooth them right up real quick. For this way, we can go ahead and get these cut up and sanded. Once everything has been sent through the drum sander that needed a quick little freshening up, at this point, I just took all of the pieces that I had gathered around in various locations and put them in one spot. On this working table, we're just going to put everything together. For this way, I can go ahead and get things sorted. Sorting them out will allow me to be able to go ahead and try to start putting some similar sized pieces together. For this way, that'll make easier glue ups down the road. And now that everything is grouped up, it's time to go ahead and do the first of a few glue ups. After the first glue up is complete, each block was sent to the planer to clean up the top and bottom faces. Moving on to the table saw next, I have to trim up the ends before cutting each large block into equally sized smaller ones. These small blocks will get then mixed around and re-glued together with the end grain facing up to form one large chaotic pattern overall. After the large pattern block was completed, it went through the drum sander to get the faces cleaned up and sent through the table saw once again to split into long strips that are mixed up and glued together for the very last time. Once that is set, the block is then cut into the final size cubes that will become the coasters. Using setup blocks, I set the fence to cut a 5/16 inch slice from each one of these blocks. This is somewhat oversized from the intended final dimensions on purpose, though, not knowing how well the end grain blocks would actually cut up at this moment. Because I allowed for the extra thickness of the bandsaw, these coasters received their final trip through the drum sander to clean up any of those bandsaw markings and to dial in each one into their final thickness of just under a quarter of an inch. Last thing before any touch-up sanding is to put on the final shaping on the coasters. Here I used a 1/8 inch round over bit on each side to be able to create that nice rounded over bull-nosed effect. Jump into the computer, I created a setup that would allow for a repeatable engraving of my logo on each one of the coasters. I already had a square template for another project, so I simply imported my logo graphics and created a small bounding box that matched the sizing of the coasters. Once the first one was set, it was a simple copy and paste with some small adjustments made to the grouping as a total. After removing any unnecessary layout markings on the canvas, I sent the file to the laser to get to work. Each set of 8 took about 20 minutes total this time around, but I'm sure after some adjustments to the settings, this can go a little bit quicker. Once all were completed, the last thing to do is simply apply a few layers of varnish to finish everything off. And here we go. The final coasters are all completed, and I think these turned out pretty cool as an experiment making essentially mini chaotic end grain cutting boards. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks!